Hi, Matt with etrailer, and today we're talking about our Gen Y 2 ball mount with stacked receivers and our 2.5-inch hitch receiver. So let's check it out. This is going to be a great option for anyone looking at hauling a variety of different size trailers, whether one day you're hauling a boat trailer and the next day you're hauling a utility trailer that has a higher rise to it. It's also going to be great if you are hauling anything with a lot of different size couplers too. For your rise and drop, you're going to have a total of 9 inches, so that's how much your drop's going to be, and if you flip it around, that's how much your height's going to be, or your rise. And we are going to have a little bit of an offset right here, and what that's for is if maybe on the occasion you just have something with a slight rise to it, or a slight drop to it, instead of flipping this whole thing around, because it is pretty heavy, you can just move this ball up here to that top receiver. As for the weight capacities, that's going to be different per ball you use. If you're using the 2-inch ball, that's going to be 16,000 pounds for your towing weight and 1,500 pounds for your tongue weight. And what the difference is really, your towing weight is what you're going to be pulling behind you, and your tongue weight is going to be the pressure that's being applied downwards. For the 2 5/16 inch ball, we can actually flip that around, and that weight capacity is going to be 32,000 pounds, and it's going to have a tongue weight of 3,500 pounds. These pins go in there really easy. That texture is a very smooth finish to it, and you can tell it's custom fit for this because it is a tight fit, but I don't really have an issue pulling in and out. And they're going to come with these uniquely designed clips. They're supposed to be easy to put on and off. It does take a little bit of practice to get it on right, but once you figure it out, getting these on and off, super easy. And right next to that, once we have our pin in, you'll notice we have this stopper that's welded on our ball mount. What that's going to do is just make this a lot easier to get your ball mount on here instead of trying to find what's going to be the correct spot to line up those holes to. Just above our ball mount, we're going to have this collar. And what this is going to do is, if you plan on using anything that uses a little net ring, you can actually slide this collar forward after when that rings around your ball mount, and this is going to prevent it from bouncing off while you drive. Just make sure you put this pin back through here so it holds in place. If you need something that's going to be a little bit further away, this can accommodate that too. This can push out about an inch away until we line up with another hole. Just make sure you do have a hitch pin to put through here so you can secure it down. You're probably not always going to be using the 9-inch drop. There are going to be those other options. You're going to have that first hole that's just going to be level with your hitch receiver. But then you're going to have one with a 3-inch drop, a 6-inch drop, and then the one on the bottom with that 9-inch drop. And of course, at the top we do have that rise of 3 inches, but if you ever need a little bit more than that, we can flip this around. And to flip it around, it's pretty straightforward. Just make sure you remove your pin. And this is a little bit heavy, so when we're pulling this out, once we get it out all the way, we're just going to flip it around and push it back in and line up those holes. As for the material, this is going to be a pretty sturdy material, at least for the housing. It's going to be made out of steel, and it's going to have this zinc primer to it and this texture finish as well. So what that's going to do is make this even more weather resistant than your regular standard primers. And next to that, we're going to have this ball mount that's going to be made out of steel with this black powder coat finish. And that finish is just going to help it be more weather resistant, and the steel is going to be durable, so it'll be able to withstand for a long time. If you do choose to go with this ball mount, some things I'd recommend picking up with it is a pin and clip, and if you are grabbing a pin and clip, you might as well grab a lock with it. I recommend that just because this is a pretty nice piece of hardware that you have on the back of your truck, so a little bit more security is just going to give you a little bit more peace of mind. In the occasions you're not currently hauling something and you don't want to be taking up some extra room, you can actually store this ball mount behind the housing. And to do that, we're just going to remove it, put it on the back side. What I'd recommend doing too is just flipping it 90 degrees so the ball is not sticking down. And you're going to have some holes on the side of here that you can line up with it. If you're not a big fan on how this housing works or flipping things around constantly, we do have other options on our website. We do have the toe and stow ball mounts, which is just going to be a lot more accessible, just being able to flip things around and not having to flip the whole system over. Overall, this is going to be a solid system. It is bulky and pretty heavy, but that bulkiness and heft of it is going to help relate into its weight capacity, giving you a total of 32,000 pounds to tow with, which is going to be a lot for the 2500. And the ability to adapt to a lot of different size trailers is going to be really nice too. But that was just a look at some of the features of the Gen Y 2 ball mount multiple hitch receiver. Thanks for watching.